Look, at this point, we all know about the massive colony war in Starfield. It's gonna be clearly a huge part of the lore in Starfield's universe, but I think that we're actually gonna have a second colony war during our time in the game, and yes, we even have some evidence that points towards it. Again, we know for sure that Bethesda has clearly made a massive point of telling us all about the colony war. Almost every time Starfield is brought up, the colony wars are mentioned. Again, it's clearly a massive piece of the lore, that much is obvious. Bethesda have confirmed that both the Freestar Collective and the United Colonies have signed a peace treaty to end the colony wars, about 20 years before we will be playing Starfield. The United Colonies own New Atlantis and Sidonia, and the Freestar Collective own Aquila City and Neon. That piece of information will be crucial later. Now, if we look at Starfield's main quest, it has been pointed out by my good friend Damarcos dude that we still basically have zero idea who the antagonist slash big villain slash bad guy is in Starfield. Like, we don't know who we're going to be fighting in the main quest line. There will be a link to Damarcos' channel in the description, by the way. Go and give my boy some love. He makes great Starfield content and he definitely deserves it. But anyway, if you ask me, the main quest will simply not have a villain. If you're on my Discord, you already know my thoughts on this. But in short, Oblivion had the Gates, Skyrim had Alduin, Fallout 3 had the Enclave, New Vegas had the Legion, Fallout 4 had the Simps, and Starfield of course has PlayStation fanboys.
That one there was a violation. Personally, I wouldn't have it.
I'm kidding. I actually play my PlayStation 5 way more than my Series X, but anyway. Yeah, that's all past Bethesda games. They all have a main villain, right? And Starfield doesn't look like it has one at all. And this will relate back to the second Colony Wars, just give me a second to explain, alright? I don't think Starfield has a proper main villain in the main questline. People we fight, sure. But to me, it looks like Starfield's main quest will be more about discovery and understanding the universe and uncovering ancient mysteries and secrets, rather than just, these three factions hate each other, quick, pick a side and go shoot the bad guys, right? I honestly believe that the main questline is just about us uncovering the secrets of the artifacts. We may do some big battles on the way, but it won't be focused around that. Instead, I think that there will be a massive war storyline, a side quest if you will, but like a big one, being a second colony war. We have been told by Bethesda themselves that the Freestar Collective and the United Colonies are both currently, at the time that we will play the game in, at an uneasy peace. Like they're at each other's throats, just waiting for the other side to make a move so they can fire back. I don't think either of these factions even wanted to sign a peace treaty to begin with from the sounds of it, and I think that their trigger fingers are twitching. And more evidence that points towards this is actually Skyrim. If we look back at Skyrim, we did see a fairly long Civil War questline, which I still to this day will argue should have been the main questline and more in depth. And anyway, Todd Howard has mentioned before how they had to cut like 90% of what they wanted to do in the Civil War questline for Skyrim, because back in 2009 and 2010 they just simply didn't have the technology to do all of the things that Todd really wanted to do. Todd has really expressed his disappointment in this questline before, and Todd has also mentioned how they've done things in Starfield that they've always wanted to do because they finally have the technology to do it. And I really do honestly believe that one of those things will be a second colony war, aka a civil war. This gives them the chance to do what they originally wanted to do in Skyrim, but this time in Starfield, in Todd Howard's dream game. Now, even more evidence that points towards this is we can see in the old Starfield showcase this shot of what's clearly Neon. This was being shown during the part in the old showcase when they were showing off Neon, with a United Colony soldier walking about. However, in Starfield's latest showcase, we can see that Neon is run and owned by the Freestar Collective. They even have a building here in the city. Now my theory is, these factions will go at it again, starting another colony war for whatever reason, which we, of course, will be a part of, and I honestly see this going 4 different ways. Either we can side with the United Colonies and wipe out the Freestar Collective, which is how the United Colonies end up on Neon. Doing this, we may also even take over Aquila City. Or we could side with the Freestar Collective and take over Sidonia and New Atlantis and become the new most powerful faction in Starfield. Or the third option, side with the Crimson Fleet and push these two factions into destroying each other and then killing off the last of them yourselves, finally taking over the settled systems. or finally a second peace treaty option where the Freestar Collective and the United Colonies put their differences aside and come together to take out the Crimson Fleet pirates once and for all. Now look, am I majorly speculating here? Yes. Am I majorly stretching here? Yeah, a little bit. But like I said, we did have some small evidence to point towards this being a reality. Like I said, is it a reach? Somewhat, yes, of course, but it's fun to have these laid back discussion videos sometimes. But actually, taking back pretty much everything I just said, this could even tie into the main questline. We still have no idea what the artifacts are. What if they're the power that will end another war? All four factions could end up fighting in a massive free-for-all over the artifacts, causing an all-out war across the set of systems. This does kind of add up with what Bethesda did in the past with Fallout 4, having the Crimson Fleet pirates being the straight-up evil faction, Freestar Collective being the straight-up good option, United Colonies as the unlawful good faction, and Constellation being basically neutral, sort of like the Minutemen. Anyway, that is all I have to say today, so let me know your thoughts in the comments as always. Please do drop the video a like for me, it really does help out more than you can imagine. And look, if you want to stay up to date and see a bunch of Starfield lore videos, character builds, tutorials, and plenty of other stuff when the game finally releases, be sure to subscribe because I will absolutely have you covered from day one of launch. Lastly, as always, a massive thank you to the channel members. You guys are beautiful people. Thank you for sticking with me month after month. It means the absolute world to me. You have no idea. But with all of that said and done, I thank you all so much for watching, and I really hope to see you next time. Peace.